Welcome to this meditation, A River of Thoughts. A distracted mind is a disconnected mind, and sometimes the distractions can be thoughts of worry and rumination. When we notice thoughts or thoughts of worry and rumination, we recognize that they take us out of the present moment in connection with those around us. Ever notice that when you worry, that you sometimes check out of the situation that you're in? Rumination and thoughts of worry lead to avoidance and isolation. They suppress the parasympathetic nervous system's ventral vagus nerve activity, the part of our nervous system responsible for rest and connectedness with others. But if we're wading in a river of rumination, those thoughts instead are readying us for activation of our sympathetic nervous system's flight or fight response. Those thoughts are strengthening the tracks in our brain that lead to hyperarousal and hypervigilance. Maybe we're attributing too much attention to them instead of taking a step back. Thoughts of rumination and worry make up a story in our head that may not reflect reality. Dr. Amishi Jha, in her book Peak Minds, reminds us not to believe in everything we think, to take a step back from the river of thoughts, to get some distance and perspective. This approach gives us a chance to acknowledge that thoughts come and go. In taking a bird's eye view, we can shine a floodlight on the situation and sense what we're experiencing, separating from the story that may not be your truth, but rather a false narrative. Creating some distance to become objective and not getting pulled into the story that holds the seeds of the worry and rumination that may be present, but rather looking at things with curiosity, not feeling whether those thoughts are right or wrong, just knowing thoughts will come and go. The following meditation is adapted from Mindful Leader on observing thoughts objectively. Their work was modified from the work of Jon Kabat Zinn's guided mindfulness meditations, Coming to Our Senses. So let's now do this meditation on observing our thoughts. Taking a few moments to settle in, feeling the body as a whole, sitting in a posture that's erect but not stiff, or if you choose, lying down, noticing your breath and beginning to ride the waves of the breath, moment by moment, resting in awareness. And when you're ready, if you care to, letting go of the breath and body as a whole, allowing them to go back into the background or rest in the wings, still very much present, but less featured, as we invite the whole domain of thoughts and feelings and moods to become part of that center stage in our field of awareness. You may be noticing thoughts coming to your head. Those thoughts may build into a stream. And for a time, attending to that stream of thought rather than being carried away from it, let's look at it from a bird's eye view, allowing individual thoughts, if and when they arise, to be seen, felt, recognized, known, just as thoughts in our field of awareness from our bird's eye view. Recognizing those thoughts as mental events, occurrences, something that arises in the thinking mind, independent of their content, any emotional charge, just thoughts as they appear. Seeing that these thoughts are fleeting. They may look like curls in the surf, ripples in the water. They're not necessarily any facts or truths. They're just thoughts. And if we notice there's something emotionally attached to them, just recognize it. If they tend to reappear, just notice their presence. Expanding the metaphor, seeing in any and all of these thoughts as the ripples that come and go in the water. They may linger for a brief moment and then dissolve into stillness, relating to their content as if it were of equal importance or relevance to what you say you had to dinner a few nights ago. Even if a thought is particularly compelling and insightful, especially if the thought is particularly compelling and insightful. Letting any and all thoughts come and go. Letting all sounds come and go. Letting all sensations come and go. Not assigning any particular preference for one thought, sensation, or sound. Not needing to pursue or examine any of those things. Just taking that bird's eye view. It might be helpful to be especially sensitive to any steady stream of commentary or advice you might be giving yourself now as you sit here, just recognizing it as such. And as you notice any stream of commentary or thoughts, just start to imagine flying above them a little higher and turning down their noise so you can see the whole picture. Noticing thoughts as they arise moment by moment. Recognizing with curiosity that thoughts arise and come and go. Not attributing these thoughts as any particular truth. Not considering these thoughts to be anything of value or importance. Just a thought. Watching how easily thoughts start to coalesce into a story, opinion, belief, idea. And as we get pulled into them, they start to morph into something different. And if you notice that, coming back to this moment, to this frame, in this moment, to the field of thought itself, beyond all content of endless thinking and fabricating emotion that can accompany the thoughts that spring up from our consciousness. Not attributing our feelings of whether they're pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, just recognizing that they're there. Allowing all of this to be held in bare attention and awareness. If we learn to observe carefully, rather than identifying with the content of thoughts, we tend to recognize how these thoughts are just ripples and waves in the surface. As we look from this bird's eye view. As we inhabit the whole of the mind, that boundless essence that already knows before our thoughts are there, bigger than any feeling, however powerful, that is capable of making use of thought and emotion without being caught or imprisoned by unwise and unexamined patterns of thought that we may have developed over a lifetime. Ignoring these aspects of the mindscape, of our own being, of our lives unfolding. And as we start to come to a close in this meditation, we start to develop more awareness of our body and widen our field of attention. We may want to stretch our arms and legs, wiggle our toes, opening our eyes, taking in what's around us, and taking a moment of gratitude that we've spent this time to examine our river of thoughts today, so that we may live with greater ease.